At 2:17 on a Thursday afternoon, Robert Fisk opened a brown folder, looked across the conference table, and said the sentence no one in the room had prepared for. The property at 14 Creekside Drive, including the lake house, its furnishings, and the separate cash bequest attached to it, passes to Gloria Reyes. Caroline Ashford stopped breathing for a second. Her son Philip looked from the attorney to Gloria as if he had missed part of the conversation. Her daughter Diana lowered the pen in her hand, and Gloria, who had spent 8 years arriving at the Ashford house before sunrise, stood beside a leather chair in a navy winter coat and kept both hands folded in front of her. 7 days earlier, Caroline Ashford had fired her with a letter left on the kitchen counter. Gloria found it at 6:15 on a Monday morning. She had entered through the service door as she always did. Her keys were still warm from her coat pocket. The house was dark except for the small lights under the cabinets and the blue glow from the security panel by the pantry. The counter was usually empty at that hour. That morning, there was one envelope. Her name was written across it in black ink. Gloria Reyes. She took off her coat. She hung it on the hook by the door. She set her bag beneath the small bench. Then she opened the envelope. The letter was short. It said the Ashford family was restructuring household expenses for the coming year. It said her employment was ending immediately. It said her final pay had been deposited. It thanked her for her service. No meeting, no phone number, no request for a conversation. Just one page on expensive stationery. Gloria read it twice. Then she placed it back on the marble counter. For 8 years, she had been the first person in the Ashford house to begin the day. She had known which child would eat toast only if the crusts were cut off. She knew the coffee machine stopped working if it was reset too quickly after a power flicker. She knew where the spare batteries were kept when the smoke detector beeped at 2 in the morning. She knew which window in the upstairs hall needed to be pushed firmly before the lock would catch. She knew how to prepare the house before a holiday dinner without creating noise. She knew which candles Caroline disliked. She knew that the family's old gold and red Christmas ornaments had to be wrapped separately because one of them had been dropped years ago and repaired with a thin line of glue. She had never needed anyone to notice these things. The work was still the work, but standing alone in that kitchen with a termination letter in her hand, Gloria felt the shape of the silence around it. Not surprise, not even anger at first, just a question. Why now? Christmas was 9 days away. Her son Miguel's final tuition payment was due after New Year's. And in the drawer of her apartment kitchen, beneath a folder of utility bills and a passport she almost never used, was another letter she had received 2 months earlier. That letter came from Robert Fisk, the Ashford family's estate attorney. It asked Gloria to attend a private estate meeting on Thursday, December 21st. No explanation, no detail. Only her name, the address, and a line that said her presence was requested. She had called the office when she received it. The receptionist had confirmed that the letter was not a mistake. Yes, Ms. Reyes. Mr. Fisk asked that you come in person. Gloria had not asked why. She had learned long ago that some questions became clearer when you waited for the person who had the answer. Now with Caroline's letter resting on the counter, she took out her phone and called the Ashford household number. It rang twice. Then Caroline answered. "Gloria," she said. Her voice was steady, too steady. "I assumed you found the letter." "I did." There was a pause. Caroline said, "I wanted it to be handled cleanly." "You could have called me." "I could have," Caroline said, "but I did not want to make this emotional." Gloria looked toward the breakfast room. 3 chairs were already set. The 4th was tucked in, waiting for someone else to take over the morning. "I see," Gloria said. Caroline exhaled through her nose. "This has nothing to do with the quality of your work." "It never does," Gloria said. The words left her before she had planned them. Caroline went quiet. Then she said, The household is changing. The children are grown. We are reducing staff. It is practical. Gloria held the phone in one hand and the letter in the other. Will someone come for my things? She asked. You may take anything personal today. Today? Yes, I think that would be best. Gloria looked at the coffee machine. She looked at the fruit bowl. She looked at the covered tray of cinnamon rolls she had prepared the night before and placed in the freezer for Christmas morning. I understand, she said. Caroline did not answer. Gloria ended the call. She did not start the coffee. She did not set the breakfast table. She walked to the small closet by the service entrance and removed her apron. It was dark blue. Her name had never been embroidered on it. There had never been a reason for it to be. She folded it once and placed it in her bag. Then she gathered the few personal things she kept in the house: a sweater, a pair of reading glasses, a small tin of peppermint tea, and a framed picture her grandchildren had drawn for her 3 years earlier. On the picture, the house had been bright purple. The Christmas tree was taller than the roof. Gloria carried it carefully. As she reached the service door, the security panel made a soft sound behind her. The system had been updated. The gate code that had opened for her every morning for 8 years had already been removed. Outside, the December air was sharp and dry. Gloria stood beside her car for a moment before getting in. Then she drove home. Her apartment was on the 3rd floor of a building above a small laundromat. It was clean, quiet, and smaller than the Ashford kitchen. Gloria preferred it that way. Nothing in it pretended to be more than it was. She placed the letter on her table. She made tea. Then she opened the drawer with her important documents and took out Robert Fisk's invitation. The paper was heavier than the termination letter. At the bottom, beneath the attorney's signature, was one line she had read many times since October. Please bring government identification and arrive 15 minutes early. That was all. Gloria sat down. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her daughter Anna. Mama, are you coming down for Christmas Eve? Gloria looked at the screen for a long time. Then she typed back, Yes, I think I am. She did not tell Anna she had been fired. Not yet. Anna had 2 little boys, 4 and 2. Her husband worked in a physical therapy clinic. Their apartment was always loud in the background when they called. Gloria loved that sound. Miguel was different. He lived across the state, close to the university. He was 28, finishing an engineering degree that had taken longer than he expected because he worked evenings at a campus warehouse. Gloria had paid what she could every semester. She had promised him she would get him through the final year. The Ashford job had made that possible. Now the job was gone. The next morning, Gloria woke before her alarm. For the first time in years, she had nowhere to be at 6:15. She dressed anyway. She cleaned her apartment. She folded laundry. She answered a message from Miguel about an exam. She told him she was proud of him. She did not tell him anything else. At 10:30, she received an email from Carolyn Ashford. There was no greeting. It said the family had planned a small Christmas dinner at the house that Friday. Carolyn had expected the decorations to be finished by then. She asked whether Gloria had left the storage inventory for the holiday boxes. Gloria read the message once, then again. Carolyn had fired her on Monday. On Tuesday, she was asking her to help prepare Christmas. Gloria put the phone down. A minute later, the phone rang. Carolyn, Gloria answered. I sent you an email, Carolyn said. I saw it. I need to know where the boxes are. They are in the attic storage room. The blue boxes have the ornaments. The white boxes have the lights. The wreath forms are behind the spare dining chairs. There was a pause. Carolyn said, the tree stand, 3rd shelf on the left, and the extension cords, behind the wrapping paper. Carolyn was quiet for several seconds. Then she said, could you come by for one morning? Just to set things up properly? We are hosting people. Gloria looked around her apartment, the small table, The bills, the letter from the attorney. You ended my employment yesterday, she said. I know. Then I cannot come back to work. Carolyn's voice changed, not louder, harder. I am not asking you to come back to work. I am asking you to help with something you know how to do. Gloria closed her eyes. For 8 years that was the same thing, she said. Carolyn did not answer. Gloria continued. I hope your dinner goes well, Mrs. Ashford. Everything you need is in the attic. Then she ended the call. Her hands shook afterward. Not because she regretted what she said. Because she had never said anything like it before. For 8 years, she had made herself useful before anyone had to ask. She had learned to anticipate. She had learned to smooth rough moments before they became problems. That had been her strength, but there was a difference between being helpful and being available to people who had decided you no longer mattered. By Wednesday afternoon, Gloria had received a message from Diana Ashford. Diana was the middle child. She ran the family foundation. She had always spoken to Gloria more directly than the others, though not often enough to know her well. The message said, I'm sorry about what happened. I did not know until yesterday. Would you be willing to tell me where the Christmas table linens are? Gloria stared at it. Then she replied, Top drawer in the dining room sideboard. Please do not worry. I hope the family has a peaceful Christmas. Diana sent back a single heart. Gloria put the phone away. That night, she took out a small box of ornaments from her own closet. They were not expensive. Most were old. One was a paper angel Anna had made in elementary school. One was a wooden star Miguel had painted blue when he was 9. One was a glass ornament Gloria had bought at a pharmacy clearance sale after her husband died because the apartment had felt too quiet that year. She placed them on the table. For a moment, she thought about the Ashford house, the large tree in the foyer, the candlelight, the silver serving trays, the children home from college when they were younger. Then she thought about Harold Ashford Sr. She had met him only twice. The first time was 6 years earlier, during Christmas dinner. He had been in his 80s then. He came into the kitchen while Gloria was checking the roast. Most members of the family never entered the kitchen before dinner. They came through only when they wanted something. Harold stood near the counter and looked around. Smells good, he said. Thank you, Mr. Ashford. He watched her arrange the plates. Then he asked, Your boy still in school? Gloria looked up. Miguel? Yes, Miguel. She had told him months earlier that her son was studying engineering. He starts next year, she said. He is deciding which program. Harold nodded. Good, he said. The world always needs people who know how things are built. Then he had asked about Anna too. Not politely, specifically. He asked whether Anna was still working at the daycare center. He asked whether she had moved closer to San Diego. He asked if the baby had stopped waking at night. Gloria remembered the questions because nobody in the Ashford family had ever asked her those questions before. The second time she saw Harold was 2 years later. A winter storm had knocked out power for several hours. The family was worried about a charity dinner scheduled that evening. Gloria had moved food into coolers, found candles, called the catering company, and worked through the problem. Harold arrived early. He found her in the hallway carrying a box of battery lanterns. You keep a house running, he said. Gloria smiled politely. I try. No, he said. You do. He had not said anything else, but she remembered it. 2 months after that, Harold became ill. His visits ended. A year later, he died. Gloria sent a sympathy card. She never received a reply. On Thursday morning, the day of the estate meeting, Gloria wore her navy coat, a gray blouse, and simple black shoes. She took the train downtown. She arrived at Robert Fisk's office at 1:45. The receptionist asked her name. When Gloria said it, The receptionist looked at the screen and stood a little straighter. "Mr. Fisk is expecting you," she said. Gloria sat in the waiting room with her hands in her lap. At 1:58, Caroline Ashford arrived with Philip and Diana. Caroline wore a cream-colored coat and carried a leather folder. Philip wore a dark suit and checked his phone as he walked. Diana looked tired. Caroline saw Gloria first. Her expression changed so quickly that another person might have missed it. Surprise, then suspicion, then calculation. "Gloria?" she said. Gloria stood. "Mrs. Ashford." Caroline looked around the waiting room. "Why are you here?" "I received a letter from Mr. Fisk." Caroline looked at Philip. Philip looked at the receptionist. Diana said nothing. Caroline lowered her voice. "This is a private estate meeting." "I know," Gloria said. "Then perhaps there has been an error." The receptionist shifted behind the desk. Gloria felt heat rise to her face, but she kept her voice level. Mr. Fisk's office confirmed the appointment. Before Caroline could answer, the conference room door opened. Robert Fisk stepped into the hall. He was 71 years old. His silver hair was neatly combed. His glasses hung from a thin cord around his neck. He had the calm posture of a man who had spent decades in rooms where people expected him to explain things they did not want to hear. "Mrs. Ashford," he said. "Philip, Diana, Miss Reyes. Thank you for coming." Caroline turned toward him. "Robert, I believe there may be a misunderstanding." "There is not," he said. His tone was polite. It was also final. He led them into the conference room. Gloria sat where he directed her, near the middle of the table, not at the far end, not apart from the family. Caroline noticed. So did Philip. Robert Fisk began with the ordinary parts: Harold's investments, family trust distributions, the main Ashford residence, business shares, everything that Caroline and her children expected to receive. Caroline listened without emotion. Philip relaxed slightly. Diana stared at the pages in front of her. Then Robert turned to a second folder. "The following provision was added 14 months before Mr. Ashford's death," he said. "It was executed separately, witnessed, notarized and accompanied by a personal statement." Caroline's fingers tightened around her pen. Robert read. "He said the lake house at 14 Creekside Drive, including its furnishings and the land surrounding it, would pass to Gloria Reyes. He said a separate cash bequest of $350,000 would also pass to her. He said the estate would cover all transfer costs." Then he stopped reading. No one spoke. Philip's mouth opened slightly. Diana looked directly at Gloria. Caroline looked at Robert Fisk. "Read that again," she said. Robert did. When he finished, Caroline leaned back in her chair. "That cannot be right." "It is right," Robert said. "That house has been in our family for 80 years. Mr. Ashford understood that. It is where we spend Christmas." Robert nodded. He understood that as well. Caroline looked at Gloria for the first time since the meeting began. Gloria met her eyes. Caroline said, "Did you know about this?" Gloria's face did not move. "I knew I was asked to attend this meeting," she said. "I did not know why." Philip turned to Robert. "Grandfather gave the house to the housekeeper?" Robert folded his hands. "He gave the house to Gloria Reyes." Philip looked down. Caroline spoke again. "On what basis?" Robert lifted the personal statement from the folder. Mr. Ashford anticipated that question. He read from the letter. "I have watched Gloria Reyes care for the homes around this family for years. She has done it without complaint, without attention, and without being treated as someone whose judgment matters. I leave Creekside to her because she understands care as work, not decoration. A house is not a family legacy simply because a family has owned it. A house becomes a legacy when someone knows how to keep it alive." No one moved. Robert turned the page. Mr. Ashford also listed the few items he wished to remain with the family. Those items are named in an attached inventory. Everything else at Creekside passes with the property. Caroline's jaw tightened. "What items?" "3 paintings. A cedar chest. A box of family letters." Nothing else. Caroline looked at Diana. Diana was still watching Gloria. Robert continued. Mr. Ashford included one further instruction. The family may request access to remove the listed items. All other future access is at Ms. Reyes's discretion. Caroline's eyes flashed. At her discretion? At Ms. Reyes's discretion. The room went silent again. Caroline slowly placed both hands on the table. I would like to know whether this can be challenged. Robert did not change his expression. You may speak with independent counsel. However, the document is legally sound. Mr. Ashford completed medical evaluations before signing it. The witnesses are available. His written statement is direct. I do not recommend a challenge. Philip rubbed his forehead. Diana asked, Did he ever tell you why? Robert looked at her. He said he wanted the property to go to someone who would treat it as a home instead of a backdrop. Caroline turned toward her daughter. Diana. But Diana did not look away. Robert placed the copies in front of everyone. Ms. Reyes, he said, the financial transfer should be completed within 60 days. The property transfer will take longer, but I expect no difficulty. You may visit Creekside with the estate manager this weekend if you wish. Gloria looked at the file in front of her. Then she asked the only question she had prepared. Was it important to him? Robert's face softened. He spent every summer there, he said. His first workshop was in the old boathouse. He told me he wanted it to belong to someone who would notice when the roof needed mending before the water reached the walls. Gloria nodded. I will take care of it, she said. Robert said, I believe that is why he chose you. The meeting ended 20 minutes later. Caroline left first. She did not speak to Gloria. Philip followed, his face hard and pale. Diana stayed behind. Robert was collecting papers. Gloria was placing her copy of the will into her bag. Diana stepped closer. I didn't know my mother fired you, she said quietly. Gloria looked at her. She did. I found out afterward. Gloria waited. Diana swallowed. I should have said something. Gloria thought about the years Diana had lived in the house. The times she had walked past the kitchen with a phone pressed to her ear. The moments when Gloria had handed her a coat, packed leftovers for her, helped find a missing earring before an event. You can say something now, Gloria said. Diana looked toward the hall where Caroline had gone. Then she nodded once. I will. That evening, Caroline called Gloria. Gloria had just returned to her apartment. She was sitting at the table with the folder in front of her and a cup of tea growing cold beside it. The phone rang. Caroline. Gloria let it ring once more before answering. Yes? Caroline did not begin with a greeting. I want to make you an offer for Creekside. Gloria looked at the will. I have not even seen the house. You know what it is worth. I know it was important to Mr. Ashford. Caroline was quiet. Then she said, It is also important to the family. We have traditions there. You do. That is not fair. Gloria leaned back in her chair. No, she said, it is not. Caroline's voice sharpened. I am trying to be reasonable. You fired me 3 days before Christmas with a letter on the kitchen counter. This is not about that. It is all about that, Gloria said. You believed I could be removed from your life without a conversation. Mr. Ashford believed differently. Caroline said nothing. Gloria continued, more softly now. I do not want to punish you. I do not want to embarrass your family. But I will not sell a house I have not yet entered because it became inconvenient for you. Caroline took a breath. You cannot possibly want to maintain that property. Gloria looked at the small apartment around her. The repaired chair, the folded blanket, the ornaments on the table. I have maintained larger things than you realize, she said. Then she ended the call. For several minutes, Gloria sat still. Her heart was beating hard. She had spent most of her adult life avoiding moments like that one. Not because she was afraid of conflict, but because conflict often cost people like her more than it cost the people who started it. But this was different. She had not asked for the house. She had not taken anything from anyone. A man who had noticed her work had made a decision before he died. Gloria's only responsibility now was to decide what to do with the trust he had placed in her. On Saturday morning, Robert Fisk sent a car to take Gloria to Creekside. She almost refused. Then she changed her mind. The drive took an hour and 20 minutes. The city thinned into smaller roads. The roads became narrower. Finally, they curved through bare birch trees toward a lake that was beginning to freeze at the edges. The house sat above the water. It was not huge. It was not grand in the way the Ashford house was grand. It had cedar siding, a long porch, a stone chimney, and windows that faced the lake. The estate manager unlocked the front door. "Mr. Ashford wanted you to see it as soon as possible," he said. Gloria stepped inside. The house smelled like wood, cold air, and old books. There were family photographs in the hallway, a stack of board games near the fireplace, a faded rug in the living room, a kitchen with a round table by the window. Gloria did not touch anything at first. She walked through the room slowly. She noticed the loose weather stripping at the back door. She noticed a faucet that dripped once every few seconds. She noticed a cracked hinge on a shutter outside the upstairs bedroom. The estate manager watched her. "Is something wrong?" he asked. "No," Gloria said. "Nothing that cannot be cared for." She walked to the porch. The lake was gray under the winter sky. She imagined Miguel sitting at the table with his textbooks, Anna's boys running down the hall, Christmas lights around the windows, soup on the stove, a house full of people who did not need permission to feel welcome. Her phone rang. "Miguel." She answered. "Mama?" "Hello, mijo. Is it true?" Gloria smiled. "Anna told you." "She called me crying. She always cries." "Are you really getting a lake house?" Gloria looked out at the water. "I think I am." There was silence. Then Miguel said, "Can I come for Christmas?" Gloria closed her eyes. "Yes," she said. "Please come." The financial transfer arrived 58 days later. Gloria stared at the number on her bank screen for a long time. Then she called Miguel. "You will not work nights next semester," she told him. "Mama, you will finish your degree." He started to protest. Gloria interrupted him. "This is not charity. This is your work. You will do it well." Miguel grew quiet. Then he said, "I love you." "I know," Gloria said. "Now send me the tuition statement." She called Anna next. Anna cried immediately. Gloria told her not to. Anna cried harder. A week later, Diana Ashford came to Creekside alone. She stood at the front door holding a small cedar box. Gloria opened the door. Diana looked tired. "I brought the letters my grandfather listed," she said. "My mother took them from the house before the estate manager could inventory them." Gloria looked at the box. "I told her they had to come back," Diana said. "They belong with the other items." Gloria stepped aside. "Come in." Diana entered slowly. She looked around the living room. The house was warmer now. Gloria had replaced the old weather stripping. A fire burned in the fireplace. The kitchen smelled like cinnamon and coffee. "You changed it already," Diana said. "I repaired a few things." Diana looked through the window at the lake. "I used to come here every summer," she said. "I thought I knew this house." Gloria poured coffee into 2 mugs. "Sometimes we know a place because we visit it," she said. "Sometimes we know it because we take care of it." Diana accepted the mug. For a moment, neither woman spoke. Then Diana said, "I'm sorry about the way my mother treated you." Gloria looked at her. "Are you apologizing for her?" "No," Diana said. "I'm apologizing for myself. I knew you made everything easier. I just never asked what it cost you." Gloria considered that. Then she nodded. "Thank you," she said. Diana placed the cedar box on the table. My grandfather was not always easy, she said, but he was usually right about people. Gloria gave a small smile. He was kind to me. He should have been, Diana said. When Diana left, Gloria stood on the porch with the cedar box beside the door. She did not feel victorious. She felt tired, but it was a good kind of tired. The kind that comes after a difficult truth has finally been said out loud. By Christmas Eve, the house was ready. Miguel arrived with a duffel bag and a laptop. Anna came with Roberto and the boys. The youngest boy ran through the hallway shouting because his voice echoed off the wood walls. The older one found the old board games. Anna stood in the kitchen with tears in her eyes and said, "Mama, this is beautiful." Gloria placed a tray of tamales on the table. "It needs work," she said. Anna laughed. "Of course that is what you would say." Miguel helped Gloria hang lights along the porch railing. He had grown taller than her years ago, but when he stood beside her on the ladder, he still looked like the boy who used to hand her screwdrivers when she repaired loose cabinet handles. "I will help you with the boathouse in spring," he said. "You have school. I will still help." Gloria looked at him. Then she nodded. "Good," she said. "We will do it properly." After dinner, the children fell asleep on the couch under blankets. Anna and Roberto washed dishes. Miguel sat by the fire with an engineering textbook open on his lap, though he had not read a page in 20 minutes. Gloria stepped onto the porch with a mug of tea. The lake was dark. Snow had begun to fall in small, quiet pieces. Inside the house, she could hear her family. Not guests, her family. She thought of the Ashford kitchen, the early mornings, the polished counters, the letter with her name on it. She thought of Harold Ashford standing beside a kitchen counter years earlier, asking about Miguel as if the answer mattered. Then she looked back through the window. The house was alive. Not because it was expensive, not because it had belonged to a wealthy family, because someone was cooking in the kitchen. Someone was laughing in the next room. Someone had left a pair of tiny boots by the door. Gloria went inside. The kettle had begun to whistle. She turned off the flame, poured the water, and carried the tea into the living room. There was work to do. There always would be. But for the first time in a long time, the house she was caring for was also hers. This is a fictional story created for entertainment purposes. All characters, companies, locations, and events are entirely invented. Any resemblance to real persons or institutions is coincidental.